This piece of white oak wood just wants to be used, and I have just the right idea on what to build out of it. Do you want to find out more? Follow me and lass uns anfangen.
And if you are a visual learner, this is what we will be building today. I built 3 different cutting boards that look just like books, but they're actually fully functional kitchen pieces. I wanted them to be decorative and practical, so I also made a custom stand for them, which makes it super easy to store them right on the counter without taking up too much space.
I don't only have white oak, I also found some cherry lumber that I will be using for this project. And like always, I start by cutting those pieces to size.
Like mentioned, for the wood, I used cherry lumber for 2 of the boards, which gave them that rich, warm color. And for the third one, I went with white oak, which has a totally different look, but still fits to the set perfectly.
I will be building 3 different cutting boards that are each 11 by 16 inches.
Each one has its own unique style, but together they look like a stack of beautiful old books sitting in the kitchen, until you realize they're actually cutting boards. It's one of those projects that's equal parts useful, space-saving, and honestly just really fun to look at. The idea was simple: make something that actually is useful in the kitchen but also looks cute enough that make people stop and say, "Hey, wait, are those books?" And then I go and say, "Nope, that's where the onions go to die." I built 3 different boards. Each one designed looks like an old book. This was one of those projects that was just plain satisfying to make. Seeing the different wood tones come together, it's all worth it. And can you believe, even with this tool belt, I still lose my pen? Jesus! Once everything was cut to length, I moved over to the table saw and ripped all the pieces down to 1 1/4 inch. If I build cutting boards, I like to go with at least of an inch thickness. This way you have enough thickness in case your glue up was a little bit messy and you lose some because you have to resurface it to make it flat again. Or in the future, if you like to resurface the board down the road to make it look like new, it's possible. I cut all the pieces into strips and the pile grew to the point that it looked like a game of Jenga. So I started with the fun part of organizing the pieces and laid them out in the shape that I will glue them up. Like mentioned before, I was aiming for about 16 by 11 inches. Here's also where I decided where each piece will be placed in the glue up. You want to make sure that the color variation of each piece goes with the next to give it a very interesting pattern.
Now that I got those 3 boards cut, it's time for the glue up. However, what I'm going to do is, because I want to laser engrave something on each side, and my laser engraver is not big enough to accommodate the board once I glue it up. So what I will do is I glue up the board without this one piece, I laser engrave it, and then I'm gonna stick it on last once it's laser engraved. So I'm gonna take one of each and I decide which one. Obviously I want a nice one, so I'm looking for a nice pattern like this. 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm going to glue up those 3 boards.
Now this is your last chance to make any changes to the layout and organization of each piece. A few minutes ago, all the strips were just looking like a pile of cut-offs, and now it's a sticky, clamped up, don't touch it or you will ruin it project. And I really have grown fond of my new glue applicator. Like always, link in the details below. I did get it off Amazon and it was really affordable. A must-have tool, not sponsored or anything, I just like it. Before you tighten the clamps, make sure all the boards are lined up properly. And then it was time to let the glue dry and pretend I was being patient.
While the glue here is drying, I'm going to take those 3 pieces into my craft room to start laser engraving them.
I do have 2 laser engravers. I have the flux laser and the X2 laser. The X2 laser actually has a false bottom and you can take out the bottom plate to place taller items into it. However, the flux laser does not have that option, at least the one model that I have. And that's why I have to divide the glue up. I do have the X tool in Florida and I'm in Nevada currently. Once I had the pieces laser engraved, I just added them to the glue up. Easy breezy. And in case you are wondering why am I wearing a mask, because I was working on a different project that's not related to YouTube. But I decided to keep my mask on because there was just too much flying dust in the garage. Once the dust settled, the glue had set too, and the boards were ready to be sanded. So let's put on some good music and let's have fun sanding. Once the boards were sanded smooth, it was time to get back to the real world and keep working on those boards to finish them. The ends were still not cut flush, so I did that now. Probably should have done it before I sand, but oh well. It's okay though, because I'm about to use the router table to cut a groove along the edge to make it look like a book. On the shorter ends, make sure you don't go all the way through to get that book look. On the sides with the engraving, I used my hand trimmer to round over the edges even more to get a more pronounced book look. I totally recommend doing that because that changes the whole look. Sometimes little details like this one just elevate the whole project. As a last step, before applying the finish, I always recommend spraying on a little water onto the boards to raise the grain. It might seem a little unnecessary at first, but this step helps to lift any tiny wood fibers that are still holding onto the surface. So after it dries, you can sand them off and get an even smoother final result. It's quick, easy, and definitely worth doing it. While this was drying, I almost forgot I still had to build a stand for the boards. So let's get to that. I cut the pieces to size using my miter saw. And then I used some 3-inch screws and wood glue to assemble it. And I guess here I broke my bit off. Oops. And now I have to figure out how to fix this. Scheiße. So I just used a thicker drill bit and drilled in the same hole to make it a little bit bigger, and that fixed the issue. Like, very strangely. I don't even know how, but oh well, it worked. For the side pieces, I transferred the angle onto the piece of lumber, then cut along that line and attached those pieces with wood glue and screws. This time I was a little bit more careful so I don't break off another bit. Now, I did like the design, but I thought it wasn't 100% yet. I did think of different options, like maybe adding some metal, that would be really awesome, but I did not have any metal handy. However, what I do have more is lumber. So I was debating on adding another piece of lumber right underneath it, a little bit thinner. What do you think? Nay or yay? I liked it and I went with it. I attached those pieces the same way. I transferred the angles, cut the pieces, and then used screws and wood glue to attach them. Once the cutting boards were dried, I gave them a last light sand to take off that raised grain I was talking about, and then I dipped them into the finish. I'm using MeikeMade liquid hydration for that. It gives the wood a protective layer that is needed to withstand the heavy usage of a cutting board in the kitchen. It is food safe and brings out the beauty of the grain in each board. And then I finished it off with a layer of Moose Magus wood butter. And we are fertig! Wow, what an amazing project! I'm so in love with those books. No, cutting boards, of course. They store away neatly on the countertop. They are just the right thickness and size. What do you think? Do you like the project? Please leave me a comment, like and subscribe to my channel. If you have not done so, please click the bell button to get notified of new videos. If you can, please join my Patreon. This helps me create more YouTube videos. Thank you so much for your support. Tschüss und auf Wiedersehen!